There's so many people on the street walking around in St Ives that it isn't pleasant either for the walkers or the drivers. A, driving through town's a nightmare, and B, parking's a nightmare.
So today, Electroheads, I am travelling approximately 250 miles just to prove a point, which is one of the pettiest things I've ever done on video. It's literally dead to me now. Jack, I hate you and I never want to see you again. But it is to prove that electric is the way forward in more ways than one. Around 15 years ago, I visited a remote, coastal, idyllic English seaside town for the first time, and I fell in love with the place. But this town, it was clear to me, had a problem, and it's a problem that is increasingly prevalent in towns and cities across the world.
The small town with its narrow cobbled streets was plagued by large delivery vans. We've all seen these huge vans speeding around our neighbourhoods whilst the driver furiously tries to keep up with their daily delivery targets or faces being penalised by their parent company. Vans were designed as intercity sprinters, helping us to lug cargo from A to B, i.e. the transit van, and often they're used by workmen to load up with tools, but once at the workplace they'd be parked up all day, not herring around town at breakneck speeds for 8 hours a day. A recent study suggests delivery vans in cities are usually less than half full, i.e. they're a giant waste of space, a bit like the Tottenham Hotspur trophy cabinet. So today I'm going to go back to that coastal town from my youth and prove that we don't need them by using a new form of electric cargo vehicle. This actually harks back to a business idea I had when I first visited the town, and in this video I'm hopefully going to get the opportunity to pitch that idea to people who can actually make it happen.
I'm out.
But to get this mystery vehicle to the town, I actually need an even bigger vehicle, which is the one I'm driving right now, which is a van. When you think about it, it's actually pretty awkward given this is sort of an anti-van video.
You f***ing hypocrite.
But I tried to find the coolest van that I could, and I got the VW ID Buzz Cargo, which is absolutely brilliant. So let's take a quick look at what I'm driving for 250 miles.
The ID Buzz Cargo is Volkswagen's van version of their flagship electric vehicle, the VW ID Buzz, which is of course based on the legendary VW camper van. The standout feature of this van for me is the range. With a claimed range of around 250 miles, you might assume that the real range is around 200 miles, but I've been finding the claimed range is very accurate. And you can certainly expect to get 250 miles out of this van if you drive it conservatively, and that includes motorway driving. In urban settings, you might even get more than 250 miles, with the regen braking helping you to top things up. In my 8-mile trip through London, at the start of this journey, my remaining range actually went up by 3 miles. I'm making range. I'm God. I've driven quite a few of the ID range of cars, and I think this one is the best handling and the smoothest out of all of them. The exterior styling is eye-catching, turning the heads of lots of people who see it, but the downside, if there is one, is the interior styling, which is all a bit plasticky. It's a bit disappointing given the price of around £50,000 to £60,000. But I have to say, the more I drive this, the more I'm falling in love with it. It's just one of those cars that sparks joy. Welcome to St Ives, an historic fishing town in Cornwall, England, which is now popular with surfers, holidaymakers and enjoyers of Cornish pasties, i.e. me. Yeah, me! St Ives was developed long before the advent of the car, meaning its streets are narrow and it's densely packed in so that villagers in ye olden times could buy a newspaper, eat a pasty and drink 10 pints of beer, all within a short distance of each other.
Nice.
Now the town is incredibly popular with tourists, and all these densely packed local businesses bring a lot of footfall to the narrow streets. You can't pedestrianise the town because then the local businesses wouldn't be able to get their supplies.
And that is where electric cargo bikes come in. St Ives is at the bottom of a very steep hill. It's a hill that can be mitigated by electric cargo bikes. So my idea is to have a depot at the top of the town where there is an industrial space. All of the vans that want to do deliveries into the town will deliver to that depot, and then people on cargo bikes will ferry the parcels down to the village, helping to get rid of vans from the town. This is an actual idea that I've come up with that I'm literally going to pitch to the mayor and the councillors, so it could be a real business, but I need to get local business owners on side. They might just tell me to f off, which would be absolutely fair, to be honest. So I'm going to go and canvass some opinion in the pouring rain today. I've got 2 days to do it, to get as many business owners on side as possible, so let's go and meet some locals.
Wait, slow down. Before we do that, let's take a look at what I'm riding today.
So folks, this is it, the magnificent beast that I'm going to be riding around Cornwall for the next 2 days. It is the Estarli eCargo Longtail, brand new cargo bike from Estarli. It's got some really impressive features, huge battery which gives you 120 kilometers of range, really impressive, even with up to 90 kilograms of load on the rear rack. Load on the rear rack sounds Sounds a bit dodgy, but I'll carry on. Beautiful mid-drive Bafang motor and carbon belt drive. It's so smooth and so easy to ride. So let's take a closer look at it.
The Estarli eCargo offers an impressive 75 miles of range from its 17 amp-hour 700 watt-hour battery and 80 Nm of torque from its 250 watt mid-drive Bafang motor. Later on in this video, I get the torque figure wrong whilst riding and talking because I can't do two things at once. So just to be clear, it definitely has 80 Nm of torque, and ignore what I say later because I'm an idiot. The bike can take an overall load, including rider, of 210 kilograms. That equates as up to 90 kilograms on the rear rack and 140 kilos of rider weight. There's also a front basket that you can put a small amount of additional cargo in. The Enviolo CVT with a carbon gates belt drive ensures a noise-free, low-maintenance ride. Its cargo frame style, 20-inch wheels, and Schwalbe Supermoto tyres handle various terrains comfortably. With an IPX6 water resistance rating, it's ready for pretty much any weather. It can accommodate riders from 5 feet tall right up to 6'5". It's worth noting that a family version of this is available. You can either fit a bench or 2 child seats to the back, meaning you can do the stall run on this bike.
And I've got a dog. Hey, hello, hello. What's your name? What's your name? It's pissing it down. I've forgotten my helmet, but I'm going down to meet Judy, who runs a chocolate shop and apparently loves my idea of doing deliveries on a bike. So let's see, she loves it as much when she realises that the chocolate could get soaking wet. For fuck's sake! Then you'll be quicker than me, mate. Go past. Okay, it's doing all right. I know that my face is very close to the camera, but I managed to get up there. Could I do this every day? 100%. So Judy, thank you very much for having us here today. If there was a depot in the sort of industrial centre at the top of the town,
yeah,
where there were a team of like local surfer kids who are earning a bit of extra money who could take the deliveries from vans and ferry them down to businesses like yours, would that be something that you would use to help get vans out of the town?
I think it'd be brilliant. I think it'd be so good because delivery, I really feel for the delivery people when they come in because they, especially in the summer, they're having their vans around the tiny little lanes and everything and they're all stressing out because of the buses and because of this, that and the other. Whereas if there were people that would just come down and do the last leg of the journey, I think they would love it and it'd be a lot easier for everyone really. And plus, I'd also use it, I think, because with posting a lot of parcels, especially towards Christmas, if the post office do a pick-up the next day, but sometimes if I'm running late, it'd be really nice if people could just pick it up and get stuff out.
Yeah.
So if they could come and pick it up on the same day, that also would be really good.
Okay, so I could send a teenager down on a bike to come and pick up all of the things that you need delivered out of the town as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so it could work both ways.
It's at this point in the interview you might notice that Judy has a lot of ideas that are a lot better than mine.
Okay.
I'd love someone to come down from the town and
Yeah.
just like kind of coming in to see if I want something to eat.
Okay.
Because sometimes when it's really busy, whether it's I'm packing boxes in the winter doing the postal orders, or if it's the summer and it's just kind of busy with everybody here on holiday,
Yeah.
it'd be great for someone just to come in. I could give them an order, give them some money for doing it, and they can go and get my lunch.
Okay, so when I speak to Johnny, the mayor, later,
Yeah.
do you think he'd be interested in that part of the service as well, the food?
The food
delivery, yeah.
Possibly, because he's probably really busy and doesn't get a chance to go out
that's
either.
what I'm thinking.
So it turns out that, like all great ideas, somebody else has already thought of it. I'm off to meet John Keast, who runs his own wine delivery service via electric cargo bike. But first, I'm off to perform my first delivery service for Judy using the eCargo.
We're on the road again, folks, and it is wet. Just doing a bit of testing, see if this can handle the hills in St Ives and handle the weather as well. Really should be able to. It doesn't have the most torque, this thing, but it does. It's got 35 Nm of torque.
Ignore what I say later because I'm an idiot.
250 watts of power, obviously, to keep it legal in the UK. Seems to be getting up the hills fairly easily. Certainly going down them easily right now. The brakes are working. So really just trying to get a sense for whether this could be a feasible option. It's not the quickest in the world. I'm uphill right now doing about 17 kilometers an hour. My e-bike at home I usually ride, so an Estarli E28 or ADO Air 20 would probably fly up here a lot quicker than that, but it is really heavy compared to those. So it's quite a long hill climb this already. Not gonna lie to you, my legs are starting to burn a little bit. I'm not gonna name names here, but some of my colleagues don't film in the rain, Cole and Ailish, but I think it's really refreshing and I like getting really ill, so Thought I'd give it a go.
So look, the point of this never-ending hill section is basically to show that even though it's not easy work cycling for 10 minutes on a 15% incline, it's really not that hard. It's certainly something I could do several times a day if I had to.
So Scarlet Wines is mostly a wine wholesaler, and we sell wine to other restaurants and to pubs, a little bit to the private customer, but mostly to restaurants and mostly within sort of 5 miles of this warehouse.
And you're doing the deliveries on eCargo bikes, and you have an electric van as well, right?
That's right. So we do quite a lot of volume in the summer.
Yeah.
It can be sort of, you know, several £1,000s of wine a day, and that means it won't all fit on the cargo bike that easily, unfortunately. So we do have an electric van for the bulk, and then the cargo bike is the sort of the top ups. The van's on lease. I'm paying £200 a month, including VAT. So it's ridiculously cheap actually to have the van. And then there's the maintenance. There's a few tyres. It's been a service in 3 years. It's been incredibly cheap to run. And you're never going to the fuel station. You're never giving money to Shell. A lot of those people that really we just probably should not want to give the money to.
You strike me as someone who, you know, is passionate about sustainability already.
It's what could be more important at the moment. I'm often going to a protest in London. I actually think the general public has really moved a long way on this and would like to see an awful lot more done. The mayor in St Ives, he's really keen to push sustainable transport forward. What's holding us all back is the government.
So a little update from me. So many comments from people walking around St Ives about the cargo bike, all very positive comments. And then, you know, somebody like John Keast, who runs a business and does deliveries on a bike like this, he is saying that he actually prefers riding the cargo bike around Cornwall, and he's travelling quite long distances. So businesses want it, people want it, it seems like the authorities want it. That's a really promising place to be. It seems like solutions like this are starting to win people over. I thought I'd get some weird looks around town whilst riding this bike, as they aren't all that common yet. But most people reacted positively to it, and lots of people stopped to ask questions about the bike. Anyone who's followed my career, i.e. my mum,
make any friends?
will know that I'm a bit of a car fanatic. But as much as I love cars, I have to admit that driving in cities and towns absolutely sucks. Getting out of the metal cage has been a hugely positive experience for me in London, and I can attest it's also been a hugely positive experience in Cornwall. We need to make micromobility cargo solutions like this the norm. Every time I see that a parent or a small business has bought an eCargo bike from Electroheads, it makes my day because it's one less car on the road every morning, and that's what we're here to try and achieve.
Hi, I'm Johnny Wells, and I'm a councillor for the Carbis Bay and Lelant area of St Ives, and I'm also the Mayor of St Ives.
Okay, so a lot of titles.
Yeah.
Which one of those has more kind of power?
The Mayor, really,
Yeah.
to start with, I think, yeah.
So I've had this idea for a while about trying to get fewer vans in and around the town in St Ives because there's a lot of pedestrian traffic. I would think the best way of doing it is by having a delivery depot for the local businesses at the top of the hill, and then using eCargo bikes to bring the deliveries down to the local businesses. Just kind of off the bat, is that something you think could work and would make sense?
Yeah, ironically, it is something that we've been toying with as well. Okay. You know, the idea of that kind of delivery mechanism. As a council, it's difficult for us to actually, you know, make it happen in terms of buying all the kit and making it happen, because you're then into employing people, and there's that whole thing which makes it, you know, as a council, it's difficult to justify that to your you know, to the public. And you know, the plans for the town are to reduce the amount of traffic in town by reducing people's need to drive into town. So providing other parking solutions and other delivery solutions like out-of-town delivery, where you can get the last mile shipped into town on a bike, which is ideal.
And do you think a big part of it is trying to change attitudes towards those solutions as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's the hardest point, is getting people to make the change and understand the need for the change, and actually, you know, while it's the easy options are, well, we've just got a van that's in the car park, you know, we'll just use that to send down there, you know. It'll never change until we can reduce A, the ability, or B, the need for people to drive into town, because they won't change unless the alternative is better and cheaper, basically. That's where it comes to. That's where we're at, really, is figuring out ways of making getting in and out of St Ives a more pleasant experience.
Ronnie's told me that this is the hill that when you raise the idea of cycling in St Ives, people always say it's not possible. because this hill is too steep. So we'll see if that's true, whilst trying not to crash because I'm adjusting the camera. Okay, it is pretty steep. I'm not sure if the Insta360 on the back will be showing how steep this is, but yeah, it's a steep one. We can do this. I'm not out of the saddle yet, but I might have to get out of it. Whew. Easy peasy, lads. Now, I'm gonna be honest, this is really hard. Hey, then we're at the top. Okay, took a wrong turn. It's not the end of the hill. Christ alive. And I can see where the car park is. It was at the top of another massive hill. So I've been tricked. Going up 2 hills. This is the route that the drivers would have to do if they were delivering into the town centre. It's getting dark. Supposed to go surfing at the end of the day. Definitely running out of surfing time. Oh, this is hard. Actually, this has been 10 minutes of hill now. Johnny was not lying. Okay, a little bit left to go. Nearly there. Do quite a lot of running and cycling, and my quads are burning. This thing weighs 30 kilos. Okay, it's leveling out. I think it's downhill from here. Oh. Okay, as I was saying, I think if you did that multiple times a day, you were working for the Electroheads St Ives delivery depot, you would be incredibly fit afterwards. Okay, so what better time and place to round off this video than when I'm waiting for this car to get up to 100% charge for a few minutes here at the grid serve at Cornwall Services. So I think it's really important, and the thing I want people to take away from this video, that if you're passionate about the same things that we are at Electroheads and you feel like an Electrohead, then we've got a bit of a duty to try to persuade people who are on the fence slightly about these issues to come over to our side. There will always be people who are just against what we're trying to achieve, but that number I think gets smaller and smaller over time, which is really encouraging. I met so many really cool people down in Cornwall who 10 years ago probably wouldn't have considered themselves eco-warriors or sustainability advocates, but more and more I think normal everyday people are starting to come around to this way of thinking. People will have valid concerns about things like let's say convenience and reliability and availability, cost. With electric cars you get things like charging anxiety and range anxiety, but in this awesome van over the past few days I've had none of that. So I got it down to about 40 or 50% charge before I got to this little service station, and I'm back up to 100% in I think about 45 minutes. So I've just got a bite to eat for lunch, started recording this, and then I'm going to be on my way. It's lived up to the range that it says it was going to deliver, which is about 240, 250 miles. So I've had no anxiety throughout this trip when it comes to that. Riding the cargo bike around in all weathers, I had fun even when I was like genuinely getting drenched for about 3 or 4 hours one day. So look, you know, those things aren't ideal, but is it better than a public health crisis caused from pollution? I would say yes, getting a little bit wet is probably better than breathing in noxious fumes and chemicals. So look, if you've enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel and please comment on this video with your thoughts. If there is another place like St Ives you think I should be visiting that could do with a bit of e-bike love and persuasion, then let me know. I want to do more journeys like this. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks, Electroheads.